Welcome to Realty Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Tahir Qureshi. Today we will be talking about how to achieve success in real estate. I'm honored that my friend Winson Chan is a fellow Real Estate Institute of Canada and immediate past president of Real Estate Institute of Canada is with me. Winson, could you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Thank you, Tahir. It's my honor to be here in the program too. Thank you, my good friend invited myself. I'm Winson Chan. I'm the immediate past president, national for Real Estate Institute of Canada. I've known Tahir for a while now too. The Real Estate Institute of Canada, it's 65 years, and then there's national institutes that promote to advance the real estate education to the highest level. That's my volunteer position. I also had been working for Tridal, which is one of the leading condominium developers in Canada for the past 25 years.
Well, thank you very much. I know Winson for a while now. He's a mentor educator and very handsome personality in our Real Estate Institute of Canada. Today we're going to talk about how to achieve success in real estate. It comes to mind for consumers, what steps that we have to take to achieve success. Something that comes to my mind is preparation. How to prepare yourself as a consumer to begin the journey of buying a property. So what comes to your mind when a person is thinking about buying a home, to start the process? Would you want to enlighten that?
Sure. Like I think as a consumer too, first and foremost too, you really needed to do a lot of research. And also be honest and truthful to tell your realtor, a real estate professional, that what you're looking for. After all, real estate is one of the most variable investment that you ever made. So you really needed to think about your purchase. You're not purchasing for somebody else, you're purchasing for yourself. So in terms of your budget, the location, what exactly you're looking for, and you really need to iron that out and do your own research.
You know, I always say, put your thinking cap, because you are thinking to buy a home, there are needs, there are wants, and you have to save time and money to make sure that you are prepared before you make that decision. So if you are preparing yourself, you need to find out about your affordability, where you want to live, where children will go to school, you have access to transportation and hospital, and at the most, who is the person that comes to your mind, because you need to build a team. So who comes to your mind when you are selecting someone to help you? Because you need a team. You need a team of realtors. You have a lawyer, you have a home inspector, you have a lender that gives you funding, and so on. So how they start this real estate, selection of a real estate, what are the options? How many realtors are available? What do you recommend that they should go?
Very well said. And I think, as I mentioned, this is one of the biggest investment too. First and foremost, you're not alone. Of course, the Toronto Real Estate Board, the Real Estate Institute of Canada, and then also the entire Canadian Real Estate Association do provide a choice of realtors for you. And as your real estate professional, we are not just providing you, selling your home and selling your product. And I think what we're doing is provide a solution for you. And then also, as Tahir mentioning too, you're not just hiring a realtor, you're also hiring their network. That they be able to collectively help you. Like say, for instance, in legal issue, you'll be able to work with the legal team that particular realtor bring to the table, a home inspection, most importantly, financing. For financing too, you'll be able to work with your banker, your mortgage broker. They'll be able to work together with the realtor, with your team to collectively find various solutions for you. And as Tahir's mentioning too, it's not just your home, but various other solutions that you'll be able to hire various professionals that can assist you for the home purchasing journey.
Yeah, when you are looking for a realtor, there are 86,000 realtors registered with Real Estate Council of Ontario in the province of Ontario. 86,000. So there are a lot of people available to provide services. How they differentiate each other from any designation, any expertise, special skill set they have, how consumers should look for people with the different designations or skill set that they can acquire. One thing is to, under the Trust in Real Estate Services Act, they are required to possess their license certificate that they are valid registrant in the Real Estate Council of Ontario. That's the number one. Number two, there are trade organizations, Toronto Real Estate Board, Mississauga Real Estate Board, Brampton Board, REIC has a fellowship. Should they go out and visit these sites and do their search that these people are licensed and they have these designations that they claim that they have in order for them to help a consumer?
Yeah, I think absolutely. Because of all the realtor choices too, there is some particular realtor choose to advance their education. Like I'll give you an example for the Real Estate Institute of Canada, like myself and Tahir be part of too. The member who be able to award the Destination Fellow of Real Estate Institute, they make a commitment not only with the local real estate board, the Code of Ethics, but also our own Code of Ethics, which is a much higher standard. We focus on ethics, and then a particular fellow choose to advance in the education and experience too. So that would be one choice that you'd be able to look for. Very important is for you, as Tahir mentioned, is to do your research. Why this particular realtor choose to be able to advance their education, not just for their own benefit too, be able to acquire the education and then also the network they needed to be able to help you. So that is one requirement or addition that you'll be able to do. And of all the realtor too, one, it's very important too, is also do online research of that particular realtor. Talk to the past customer, talk to the broker of record, and if you want to verify that particular agent too, Ontario Real Estate Council of Ontario do have a website that you'll be able to verify that they are licensed. That's very important. Because some other country, actually, as a matter of fact, Canada is a very good country to participate in real estate or when you buy and trade real estate, and we have organized real estate association to protect you. So you'll be able to go to the website to check if they're licensed, and then also we in that particular website would also tell you that if they have any violation or if they have
that's right
to challenge to, that will give you open forum. I think our education system and the real estate licensing system here
it's
too
fantastic.
It's fantastic. And it's very, very open, very transparent.
Yeah.
It's a good organized real estate too. On top of that too, the local real estate association, Toronto Real Estate Board, also give you additional resources too. And if you want to look for nationally, like say the Canadian Real Estate Association, or as I mentioned before, the Real Estate Institute of Canada too, because we are a national organization.
That's right.
So you'll be able to find the resource that you're looking for.
So if you are, thank you very much, if you are looking to find out if the realtor who's working with you has a valid license, you go to reco.on.ca, and they also have a beautiful document that if you want to, how to be a good buyer, how to be a good seller, a checklist, grow houses, and many information, or if somebody's license have been revoked. Also, consumer protection program, you want to learn about your deposit is protected when you are giving deposit to a brokerage when you buy a property and you buy a home. So this is very important for you to understand these steps that you take. So the whole responsibility rests with you, because you are the one who has to put the money down, and is the biggest decision of your life to buy a property. So it is very dependent upon you to make sure the team that you create, a realtor, the lawyer, the appraiser, the home inspector, help you to complete this transaction, and you get your value for the money that you put down, that you have to do the groundwork. The pain you have, nobody will have that. So make sure that you work with your team. So this is very important. Now, most cases, in our case, lots of people in real estate, they offer incentive for buyer to sign with them. And if you have agent that focus on giving you money back, the law says that you have to be a client or customer in order to get some fee back to them. So have you have any experience like that, or do you think that this is a good approach, or for realtors to not to focus on delivering a value and worried about kickback or money, whatever?
Yeah, and I think obviously incentives is important. We do understand, especially in real estate and Toronto, or especially in Ontario, it's more expensive, and then incentive, it's important. But I think I would recommend the consumer to focus on the value and the expertise. In the Realtor, we always use an example of specialists. So say, for instance, if you heart have a problem and you go for a cardiologist, and then you may not worry too much about the fee they charge, and you worry about the expertise.
Yeah.
And this analogy too, since it is one of the biggest investment you ever made,
Yeah.
I really recommend you to focus on the expertise. The value, the network that particular realtor that brings to the table, it's more important sometimes than the incentive. And oftentimes too, if that particular realtor get to the value you want, it may outvalue the incentive they offer you.
Or they're taking away kind of motivation from the guy to ask for money, not the value of the property?
Like say, and sometimes too, I know Tahir always do a very good job listing property too, so people go to you for your expertise.
Correct.
And then there is a certain program that you put in place, and real estate is also professional too. Sometimes too, they put a lot of investment and a lot of energy for you too. So therefore, sometimes they charge an equal amount too. So in order to get, like, either to acquire a home to get a better value, or maybe when you're selling a home get a value too, focus on the total value that particular realtor bring to your table. And I know Tahir for a while, I really like your promotion in your business card. And he has a program, and I'm not going to steal his thunder. I would like him to tell you a little bit about his program called Pitch, right?
Yeah, Pitch.
So, and I think that would actually give our audience a very good guideline about the value that they're looking for.
Yeah, he's talking about my trademark. It's called Pitch. Pitch is a 5-finger like hand. P as a professional, I with integrity, T with trustworthy, C as a competent, H as honest. There are 5 principal value. If anyone compromises these principal value, they will never deliver a value to you. So you have to focus on to make sure you are getting a valued service from real estate professional working with you.
And then to add to that too, sometimes too, like this Pitch principle, it's priceless. Even if people offer you more money or more incentive too, and I honestly don't think money or incentive can buy the Pitch principle that you're going to get from
yeah, because our integrity is very key in our real estate, and is not only regulated by the Real Estate Council of Ontario in the province of Ontario on behalf of Ontario government, but also all the professional organization, organized real estate, they have a code of conduct. REIC, which is, I'm also a member and director of the Toronto chapter, we have the highest national code of conduct standard across Canada, because it's a national organization. Even URIA, Korea, Toronto Board, Mississauga Board, other boards, they also follow the same principle and make sure that we are protecting consumer and delivering service with integrity and honesty and competency. So this is where, so anytime there is no law if you make a commitment, a realtor offer you any compensation, it has to be in the BRA, buyer representation agreement, because he has to issue you T5. So it's allowable. It is not set by any government institution. It is the level of service that you required from a realtor. So this is only, there is no referral fee is allowed. Only you have to be client or a customer of a brokerage in order to get something that you negotiate between your representative.
And then to add to that too, I think the key is disclosure, transparency.
Yes.
So especially the organized real estate in Ontario here too, our all fellow real estate professionals really promote the fact that honesty, the full disclosure, that the transparency will bring, again, value to your home search.
Yeah, this is another subject which is we are adding a disclosure. Disclosure means that if a selling or buying broker or representative has interest in the acquisition or disposition of the property, this is a must that every licensed realtor disclose to the client at the first possible opportunity before negotiating a deal or putting an offer. So disclosure has to be made. This is very important. Now, if there is any compensation arrangement between the brokerage and also you, it has to be in writing, because the income that the realtor or the brokerage will give to you, you will get a T5, I believe it's T5, isn't it? It's sent to you so you can report your income if you take any money. So this is very important. So before now, when we are either buying or selling, we have either, if we're selling, we have a listing agreement. When we have a buying, we have a buyer representation agreement. So it's very, very important for consumer to understand the content. What are the major elements you think as a buyer when they are buying when they're signing agreement with them, they should watch in the agreement? Because the standard form, URIA has a standard form. So I can name you, for example, name of the buyer and the brokerage, the date it commences, the fee they charge. If they are selling it, they cooperate with other broker, their percentage specified, or the buyer agrees to pay if he doesn't, buyer agent doesn't get it from the seller. And the date of the commencement of the agreement, and also the expiration date. And then also there is a referral program that if you see a property that you like it during the agreement, you make sure that you report to the brokerage, your agent. Signing means that for you are bound by a certain period of time. Is there something you want to add to it?
Well, I think the whole agreement, all aspect is important too. It's important to understand the agreement of like what Tahir mentioned about the buyer agency agreement or listing agreement too. It is an agreement, so you make a commitment to work with that real estate professional too. So you make sure that you're really comfortable with that particular timeline, and you're comfortable with the service, and you're comfortable with all the homework that Tahir recommends you to do or find a value before you sign onto the contract. Because although it is a listing agreement, it's not your agreement of purchase and sale, it is also a commitment. It's a legal binding contract between you, the brokerage, and the real estate professional you work with. So before you sign on it too, make sure the real estate professional explain to you the details, like how Tahir just explained it to you. Any question that you're unsure, please ask the real estate professional. You'll be able to understand that too. Not just, just pick it up, okay, fine, just sign that too. Just read it and then have the real estate professional explain to you. And what I want to add on to it, you have to aware it is a binding agreement of an agency relationship.
Yeah, once you sign an agreement, whether you're representing a buyer or seller, you have really made a commitment for that period of time. You are exclusively working with the brokerage. According to the law, you can have a corporation as a brokerage, you can have a partnership as a brokerage, or you can have a self-proprietorship as a brokerage. So those are the three main employer they call brokerage. Under the law, when an agent or a broker is meeting outside consumer talking about real estate, they have to show you the license of the brokerage and the brokerage they are working with, and to make sure it is a valid. It must be in their possession at the time of performing duty under the law. So this is very important. Now, another important thing is, because I get calls very frequently about the holdover period. Because there is a clause there in the portion where the holdover period, let's assume is a listing agent, is most relevant to the seller, but I think it also applies to the buyer. When the contract expires and the people think the person who has come through the brokerage can buy the house after the agreement expired, but there is a holdover period. So can you enlighten that, what that means for our clients?
I think that is all, again, it's a production to the brokerage too, because they put a lot of time and effort to do the marketing too. So if that particular individual comes through because of a certain marketing effort too, so in the agreement, in the listing agreement to do have a whole over cost that will protect that particular broker being compensated. Once again, too, like the highlight of all this is to read even the fine line too, and make sure that you're comfortable committing to that too. After all, the whole process of the brokerage, real estate salesperson, trading real estate is all protected under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs.
Yeah.
So it is actually a protection. Unlike, as I mentioned, other country too, anyone can trade real estate. But in Ontario, we have REBA. That is actually confirmed that licensed salesperson can only trade real estate and collect commission. So this is actually consumer protection, that making sure that particular individual goes through a vigorous testing and licensing, that they qualify to trade real estate on your behalf. And I think, yes, as much as it is a listing agreement, yes, as much as it's a buyer agency agreement too, you look at the intent of the government is to create a consumer protection so that you're dealing with a trusted professional which is licensed and confirmed and educated by the province. So when you deal with that particular person, that you know you're dealing with a profession. And then, as I mentioned before, not just that particular person too, and the network of that particular person that bring along with the whole process for you.
Okay, like before, let's assume that you have a buyer agency representation, that you have a realtor that is working with you, and you have done your preparation, you have done your affordability, mortgages online, you like the property visually, and you're ready to put an offer on a property, and you like the location, you like the condition of the house, your realtor had discussed the age of the house, what renovation has been done, any improvement, any work permit has been issued, and you already know the square footage of your above grade, because cost of the upgrade is different than the basement. Finished basement, when was it done, plumbing, electricity has been updated, and landscape is done properly, so you feel comfortable. So prior to doing an offer, I recommend that they should do CMA. Normally CMA is done, comparative market analysis is normally done in listing, when they list the property. I recommend that they should do CMA before they put an offer. What do you think of that?
Yes, and I think that's very well put too, because understanding the market is very important too. Sometimes we tend to use a lot of term called CMA, is basically comparative market analysis. To understand the market better before you make an offer too, that's important.
Okay, we have a call to pick up the call. Hello? Hello?
Hi, I've got a question. Am I able to ask Tahir a question?
Sure.
Is it, do I just tell you?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, it's Dale.
Okay.
From Toronto.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if they can talk about bidding wars.
Okay, that was the next subject on there. We're going to be talking about. All right, thank you very much, caller. You can stay online. So question is from Dale from Toronto. about bidding war. As you know that right now the buyer are trying to move into the whole, especially from condominium to townhomes, and there's a bidding war going on, and how it is to bring comfort to the consumer that it is dealt with properly, and what is the protocol. I will enlighten something, and you go ahead and if you want to say something.
Okay, so my personal opinion on bidding war is first understand your own limitation and budget too. We do understand the market is tight. We do understand that there is a bidding war too. First advice is 100% do not over commit it yourself. That's why when Tahir started the program, we talk about the whole group of profession. It's not just your realtor, your banker, your lawyer, and all that too. Understand the limit. If you set up a limit that you are comfortable with, go with it too. Budget is important. Tahir mentioned about the budget too.
Yeah.
So you have a certain budget too, stick with your budget. Yes, we do understand sometimes that it is a one of a kind. You really want to beat it up too. So then this is a time that you ask the real estate professional because they are the one in the market. So
I will. Yes.
You mentioned about the CMA and all that too. So
Yeah.
then they can give you a more advice for
So
you.
my advice to you is that prior to entering into an offer stage, when you're ready to put an offer, and your realtor has confirmed there are multiple offers, first thing you want to do before you do an offer to create CMA. That will give you analysis, comparative analysis of the property that before you enter. So you already have your budget because you have approval, your affordability is an issue. And also you have to make sure that you don't go by emotion, you go by logic. If your logic doesn't make any sense, you stop it. You don't go further, because if people emotionally pay because they love the house, they want to go for it, then at the end, if the market settle or something happen, then you will not be able to resell the same property at the price that you bought. So number two, real estate council have instructed a certain protocol that realtor and brokerage will follow. There is a form 801 that every realtor that files submit an offer, submit to the listing brokerage. So consumer know that if they feel that there is something wrong going on, they can approach Real Estate Council of Ontario and they can verify. If they say that there were 20 offers, they can verify that there were actually 20 offers. So therefore you are protected because we all follow the same the procedure. So make sure the consumer are protected. Our relationship is as such that we maintain highest dignity, integrity, dealing with multiple offer. You never go emotional. You look at the logic behind it. If your realtor has prepared a CMA, is established the minimum and maximum value, after that going above, is not way to go, because you need to have a contingency fund to make sure that you are able to have funds for closing, because if you put more money in the bidding process, you won't have money left for the closing.
Absolutely.
So you must follow your budget. So the budget is one of the, we're going to take a break, then we'll get back to you. Thank you.
At Dame Drops told us how good Popeye's buttermilk biscuit shrimp is without us even asking.
So crunchy, buttery, just like those biscuits. Are you hungry yet?
8 shrimp, a side, and a biscuit for just $6.99.
At KM 9000 sang about Popeye's buttermilk biscuit shrimp because he was feeling it.
Shrimp, 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 shrimp. Shrimp, 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 shrimp.
8 shrimp, a side, and a biscuit for just $6.99.
A non-stop entertainment show with comedy,
मैं श्री नकली अमिताभ बच्चन श्री असली सलमान खान के सामने खड़ा हुआ हूँ
dancing, singing,
तेरी चुनरिया दिल ले गई
and live interaction with Salman Khan.
दिल ले गई
नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं समीना पीजी इंटरनेशनल एंड आवाज एंटरटेनमेंट आप लोग के लिए लेकर आ रहा है 6th एनुअल ब्राइडल वेडिंग एक्सपो, जहां आपको मिलेंगे ब्राइडल सूट, जहां आपको मिलेंगे ब्राइडल ज्वेलरी, जो होने जा रहा है मिसिसागा कन्वेंशन सेंटर में 15 मार्च को। अगर आप इस पे चाहते हैं कोई बूथ लगाना, अगर आप किसी बिजनेस से ताल्लुक रखते हैं और आप चाहते हैं कि आपका बिजनेस बहुत सारे लोगों तक पहुंचाया जाए, तो मजीद इन्फॉर्मेशन के लिए कॉल कीजिए 416-786-9809, 416-786-9809।
Okay, we are back again. We were talking about the bidding war. We just have a call from Dale, and we were talking between Winson and myself. The important thing is to see the value of your property, that you are putting a dollar that give you a value, not the emotion. And you have a restriction because of your budget, and you don't overrule the logic by getting emotionally involved, then you're going to be short of fund because you have to create a budget that you did that prior to entering into negotiation. So now we're going to talk about protecting yourself, how you protect yourself when you negotiate the process of acquiring and putting an offer. So what are the important things that we must include in the offer? Normally we put about financing and conditional, sometimes survey and environmental issues. How important they are, so to protect the consumer, and we want to make sure they are specific, depending on the condition of the property that we are buying. So what do you share your thought on that?
Yeah, I think you just covered a very important aspect too. Number one, conditional financing is important too. Like obviously, if you check with your financial advisor that you're okay to go all cash, of course you could, but if you're unsure, then you definitely needed to. The other one that people really need to put on is to making sure that they have a home inspection cost going into, and make sure that the property it's there, and also you also needed to make sure that that particular property is in compliances of the law too. So if you were to purchase a rental property, and make sure that particular rental property it's applied with all the regulation in terms of the rental, in terms of the fire regulation, the tenancy requirement and all that too. All this too, obviously we won't expect a normal consumer to understand the condition you put in, and then all the condition is also specific into the property that you're looking for. So this is where your lawyer and your real estate professional comes in. So when they inspect the property with you, then they would know, and then they will recommend to you that what type of courses they need to put into. Now, as a consumer, as a purchaser, it is also your responsibility to tell the realtor that a certain issue aspect that you're comfortable or uncomfortable, that you have to put in writing to protect you. And I like to hear mentioning about one thing very important too. When you draft the condition, when you draft the cost, has to be specific. Because now, when you thinking about why we're putting actually the cost into, is to prepare when there is a dispute. So when there is a dispute, if your cost is not specific, then you would be having some challenge to it too. So this definitely reach out to a real estate professional that be able to guide you through various costs that to put into the agreement.
Yeah, when putting a specific condition in the agreement, it protects you because you have a recourse in case something goes wrong with you. First is your mortgage financing. If, for example, when we had OFC rules, remember in 2017, when they apply stress test rules, lots of people got into trouble, and many deals fell apart. We're going to have a legal expert to come and talk about legal issues in real estate in our next episode. So this is very important to protect you, to make sure that you never remove the condition of financing unless you have a firm commitment from a lender. Well, because depending on your financial condition, you may already have resources. You can pay a cash payment. You don't need the condition. that will give you an edge over another competing offer in a multiple situation like a bidding war, because you already done that. Now the other option is that when you talk about home inspection, a lot of friends, they do the preliminary home inspection, either listing agent gave you, or you take your home inspector and do the inspection and satisfy yourself if you plan to remove it. There is a form, ORIA form 127, that the buyer has to sign to make sure that you are not putting pressure on realtor and you are agreeing to remove financing or home inspection condition. So there is a form there. Make sure that you sign that if you decided not to put these offers. Okay. Also, I recommend to the first-time home buyer, have a lawyer. We normally use lawyer at the time of closing. I believe that you're going to pay the lawyer fee to work with you and close the deal. Why not you show your offer to a lawyer? Either you can do it before you're submitting, or you can put a condition to review by the lawyer to make sure everything that is put in the offer is he's satisfied. If there's some improvement needs to be made, he can help you. You are paying him anyway, so why not use them? So this is advice that I give it to all the consumer, that especially if you're a first-time buyer. Now, the condition will change depending on you're buying in the city or rural area, because you have a septic tank, environmental issue, water issue, flow of water coming per gallon from the the well, and there is in terms of quality of the water. So many other issues will come. And most importantly also is survey of the property. This has been a big challenge, and lots of people don't give you site survey. You can buy it, it doesn't cost you money. If you don't have it, knock on the neighbor's house and he might have a copy which covers the entire subdivision. I have done that. Sometime I didn't get it, a survey from the seller, but it's accessible. Or it costs you about $1,500 to call a survey and get a survey done. It's worth having a site survey in case there is a dispute, there is encroachment, or other issues. Yeah, what do you think about that?
And, very important, you just bring it out too, is the up-to-date survey. Sometimes too, some landowner gives you the survey that may not be applied anymore too. Yeah. So I think that is very good advice, money well spent to get a new survey done too, because the survey not only would help you confirm the boundary of the property too, later on when you put on fences, addition, and others too, that will become handy.
Yeah, especially if you are buying a property sometime, if you are in a rural area, the people move the fence and you don't know where to start, where to end, and you're walking on the property, and it's important to have to pay a surveyor to get the fresh latest survey, and then keep that, and it will help you when you're selling the property. So let's assume that we did the inspection, we did everything, and we found something is wrong with the property. Somebody say is a legal basement, actually is not a legal basement because they never registered with the city and they never took a building permit, and now we have a dilemma. We have an agreement. The buyer is willing to remove the condition, but there is a challenge here. There is a misrepresentation, or the things didn't come out during the material facts that they're supposed to be shared with the buyer and seller. They're supposed to share. So let's assume that we have some challenge with the maintenance, and it's going to cost the money. It's going to throw the buyer out of the budget. So how can the realtor who is representing a buyer can navigate through this process and either get the reduced price or get it fixed? How can you give some advice on that, how we can do that?
100% you really needed to involve legal professional in this too, and sometimes too when you find a challenge too, you are the one who have to make the decision, and sometimes too it could be a very simple trade-off, I say, for preferences. But if there is a challenge in regards to a certain condition of the home, and then involve a bigger challenge too, I think involving the agent and also involving the lawyer is important too, and make sure that they help you navigate through this too. Now, and I think a more proactive way to prevent this is to do the homework, like Tahir, when you start the program, talk about it too. If you do a very good homework and hire a good professional to find the right property and make sure that the disclosure that you need to know needed to, you prevent that from happen. It's that I think is the best approach to making sure that you mitigate those risks, making sure that you have all the survey done, making sure all the relevant facts that you do, and we do also at SPSA the list that you go through with the buyer and lawyer too. Don't be shy, don't be hesitant. Should you have any concern or a question about the property, ask and resolve the property before you put in an offer. And I think proactive preparation is even more important.
Oh, this is a very important. This was on my list, is seller property information sheet. This gives you a level of comfort if your realtor cooperate with the listing broker and get the facts about the property, because it discloses if there are any hidden or major work that has been done to the property that is not physically visible. It fall into latent defects, because if there's some challenges in the future that you have to discover and create a problem. So there is another call I'm going to take right now. Hello.
Hi there. I've just got a question for Winson Chan. I'm just wondering if there are any new Tridal condo projects coming into the Mississauga area.
Okay, this is directly to you.
So,
you are the one.
all right, so Tridal don't currently have any project in Mississauga, but we are actually looking for some opportunity because of since we have not finalized the deal too, we definitely would like to go back to. If you look at Tridal too, Tridal actually help building quite a bit of a nice condominium in Tridal too. Thank you for the caller for thinking about us too. Right now we do have active project in Etobicoke, like in the Edenbridge area, Blue and Royal York area, and then also at 427 in Eva Road. And in the near future, we're going to bring in a project very soon at Blue and Islington area too. So hopefully when I have more information, I'm going to let Tahir know and let the audience know about it too. Thank you for your support.
Well, we're gonna have lots of offer coming. I have spoken to quite a few builders. They're going to give a special Realty Coffee Talk offering for people. As you know, I'm a real estate broker of record for City Pro Realty in Brokerage. My passion is real estate, and your success is my priority. So we're going to be reaching out to Winson to help us bring some property available for our audience. So now we're going to continue with our project. You know, the expected and unexpected. For example, you do the inspection. Let's assume that you like everything. Let's assume you like everything. But your best half, she said, I like to have a granite countertop instead of the regular one. The husband said, I want the hardwood flooring. So they're really, after inspection, creating more expenses for themselves, correct? Mm-hmm. Because they might have not thought about the improvement they need to make this house livable according to their wants, mm-hmm. not needs.
Yeah.
It may not be essential to do it right now, but they maybe want to do it, improve it. So this will affect them in their the budget, correct? So the question is that if there are certain challenges with the property, they have to have it. Either they will go through and remove the condition and they're satisfied with everything else, mm-hmm. or they have to look somewhere else, correct? So any suggestion about how to improve? I would say try to ask your realtor to negotiate the deal and see what you can get out of it because of discrepancies or improvement that you have discovered during inspection. Because I noticed that many times the seller is willing to cooperate with you because they know there are facts in there. Mm-hmm. There are some improvement needs to be made, and they may compromise or negotiate
Yeah,
in this
and
case.
I think to that point, we go to the value of hiring a realtor. So if you offer that particular realtor offer you the best incentive, the back, cash back, whatever, that may not be the number one priority. If you hire a good negotiator, if you hire a good experienced realtor, and then some of the challenges that Tahir mentioned could be mitigated before you put in the agreement. And also, should there be a certain challenge coming to you too, this is where the experienced realtor and the network will come in. And then if you hire a more experienced negotiator, they'll be able to help you navigate through that too. And Tahir also mentioning about lawyers too. So your legal team and even your banking team can actually come together and help you navigate through that too. After all, it's an agreement, and whatever you agree, you have to be comfortable with and do the best interest. And if you hire a good professional realtor with a good ethics standard and amazing negotiation skill, and then I'm sure that they'll be able to help you navigate through the challenge that you mentioned.
Yeah, the other thing very, very important that I want to point out to you is that when you negotiating or you have negotiated an agreement and you are giving a deposit, under Real Estate Business Broker Act, which is now changed to Trust in Real Estate Services Act, under Section 27, it says the deposit has to be maintained in real estate trust account and is controlled. That is protected. So when you are giving money to a real estate brokerage, that trust is protected. So you feel comfortable that a company or a brokerage that is working with you, who's licensed, registered, you verified it, there is a valid company, and you are given a deposit, is protected. And we will talk about this more in our subsequent events. So very, very important that you know that we have real estate is regulated in the province of Ontario. So your trust deposit, I recommend not to give more than 100,000. That's the maximum limit actually per transaction under the Act. So you know that. So now there's another aspect of this. When you are negotiating a deal, you are arranging a mortgage. Sometimes the people don't qualify. Sometimes people don't disclose their income. They don't have a T4A. There is no notice of assessment, but they still buy the properties. So there is how to avoid mortgage fraud. It comes to mortgage fraud because your realtor is focused on buying you the property, and mortgage you are arranging with the mortgage brokerage or lender. So make sure that you have done as a part of your strategy, working with collecting data and your homework, that you have secured a proper mortgage. And before you remove condition, make sure it is a firm commitment, no condition attached. Because if there is any condition that you cannot satisfy, the bank will not release money at closing, and there is a reason for some deal that fell apart. So can you enlighten us a little bit on that?
I think, again, before you start finding a home or even engaging a realtor too, also talk to your banker. And there is a lot of major bank across Canada, they do have a mortgage pre-qualified program. So you'll be able to talk to the banker, they'll be able to tell you exactly how much you're looking for, and then how much you can afford, how much fund that you have. And when you have that figure, and then talk to your realtor that this is the budget that you'll be able to. A lot of people choose to do it after they find a home. I actually suggest you to do way before that. Talk to your banker, and then they'll be able to calculate how much that you can afford and the amount of mortgage that you have. And once you have that assurance, as if you have cash in the pocket, then when you go to shop for a home too, to make the process a lot more easier.
There is another aspect of our agreement of purchase or sale is referral fee. You have, when you buying and selling real estate, there are sometimes a realtor refer their client to the mortgage, and they get the mortgage and financing. It is permitted under the law that if they get a referral fee, but it must be disclosed that your realtor or real estate professional is collecting fee, he must disclose that fee before putting an offer. So you know that what is being done, so it's fully transparent. The other issue that we will be talking in the next show as well, we have program is marijuana, grow houses, and stigma property. And these are very complex subject because now law allow to have one or two plants in the house. So we will be bringing expert in this field in our subsequent the offering, the program that we will come in. So in few things that we will have very soon, we are going to, I hope that what we have presented to you were useful to you, because buying and selling and how to achieve success in real estate is a very complex matter. Whether you are a seller, you are a buyer, you are a home improvement guy, you are a developer, or you are a builder. It's a complex matter. We advise you to seek professional advice from realtor, lawyers, or competent jurisdiction who can provide you competent advice so you can achieve success in real estate. Our next topic will be legal issues in real estate, and we'll talk about many issues next Thursday. Don't forget to watch Awaz Entertainment at 7 p.m. on March 19. Thank you very much. I thank Winson Chan for attending this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Tahir.
Thank you very much.